Captain Alex Mercer adjusted the straps of his pack as the shuttle doors opened, revealing the grand expanse of Zithra's royal palace. The air shimmered faintly, charged with energy from the alien technology that powered the city. Towers of iridescent metal stretched into the sky, and floating platforms carried citizens effortlessly between buildings. Alex had seen advanced civilizations before, but nothing quite like this. He stepped forward, his boots clicking against the polished surface of the landing platform. Around him, Zitharan guards, tall and elegant with skin that glowed faintly under the light, watched silently. Their eyes were sharp and intelligent, reflecting a culture that valued precision and control. Alex reminded himself to stay calm. Diplomacy here was not just polite, it was survival. One wrong move could turn curiosity into hostility. The shuttle pilot gave him a small nod, then retracted the boarding ramp. Alex adjusted his posture, smoothing his uniform, and approached the palace gates. The palace itself seemed alive, walls moving subtly with flowing lights that responded to the presence of visitors. He marveled at the design, wondering how much of it was artistry and how much was technology beyond his comprehension. A deep voice called his name. Captain Mercer. He turned to see a Zitharan aide, slightly shorter than the guards but with the same luminous skin and piercing eyes. "I am Valen. I will escort you to the throne room. The Queen awaits." Alex nodded. "Thank you, lead the way." The corridors inside the palace were grand beyond words. The ceilings arched high above, dotted with floating crystals that emitted soft light. Holographic patterns danced along the walls, depicting historical events Alex could only guess at. The floors were perfectly polished, reflecting both the lights above and the careful movements of the attendants who flanked him. As they walked, Alex noticed the subtle glances exchanged between the attendants and the guards. Their movements were precise, almost ritualistic. He realized that Zitharan society relied not just on rules, but on a keen understanding of observation and subtle communication. Every gesture mattered. Finally, they arrived at a large chamber. At the far end, a throne floated slightly above the ground. Seated upon it was Queen Lysera, her presence commanding the room. Her skin shimmered in a way that reflected the ambient light, and her eyes, deep violet, almost glowing, watched Alex carefully. She radiated power and confidence, yet there was a hint of something else, a sadness perhaps that made her seem less distant and more human in her own way. "Captain Alex Mercer," she said, her voice smooth but firm. "Welcome to Zithra. We have awaited your arrival." Alex bowed respectfully. "Your Majesty, it is an honor to meet you. I come in peace, representing Earth's interest in friendship and cooperation." The Queen inclined her head slightly, her gaze never leaving him. "We know of your world. We are curious about humanity, its strengths, its choices. Today you are not merely a guest, you are under observation. Do you understand?" "Yes, Your Majesty," Alex replied. He felt the weight of the statement. Observation on Zithra was not casual. He would need to be cautious in every word and action. Before the Queen could respond further, a commotion erupted at the far side of the throne room. Guards moved swiftly, and Alex noticed a small figure being carried in, wrapped in delicate robes that shimmered like the Queen's own attire. The child looked no older than 6, with hair the color of silver light and eyes that glowed faintly violet, like their mother's. The court grew silent. Even the Queen's face changed slightly, a flicker of surprise passing through her otherwise composed expression. The child struggled and looked directly at Alex. In perfect, clear human words, spoken through a translation device that hung around the child's neck, it said, "Father." The word echoed through the chamber, and for a moment time seemed to freeze. Guards froze mid-step. Nobles' murmurs died instantly. Queen Lysera's eyes widened in shock. The silence was absolute, broken only by the soft hum of the palace's energy systems. Alex felt a cold wave of confusion wash over him. "Father," he repeated, unsure if he had heard correctly. His mind raced. He had no child, no connection to this alien world beyond diplomacy. This must be a mistake. The child stepped forward slightly, its small hand reaching out toward Alex. "Father," it said again, more insistently. There was no fear, no hesitation, only certainty. The court whispered. Some guards lowered their weapons slightly, unsure of what to do. The queen remained seated, her hands resting lightly on her knees, her gaze fixed on Alex. Alex took a slow, careful step toward the child, raising his hand slightly to show he meant no harm. I don't understand," he said. "I am not." "You are mine," the child interrupted, its voice calm yet unyielding. "Protector, father, you belong to me as I belong to you." The queen's voice finally cut through the tension. "Kale," she said softly, the child's name. "You must not speak so recklessly." Kale looked at his mother and then back at Alex. "I choose him," the child said simply. "He is my father. You will see, mother." Alex's mind raced. Kale, the child must have been part of some secret program, experiment, or prophecy. But why call him father? How could it recognize him in any way that mattered? He swallowed hard, trying to maintain composure. The queen finally stood, her presence commanding the attention of everyone in the room. "This is unexpected," she said carefully, her voice steady but tinged with emotion. "Kale has never spoken like this before. You must understand, Captain Mercer, that the child is unique." Alex nodded slowly, keeping his tone respectful. "I understand, Your Majesty. I wish no harm to Kale. I will listen and learn." The queen studied him, her eyes searching. "Your compassion, your honesty, it is unusual among humans, perhaps even rare in the galaxy. It may serve you well here." Kale reached out his small hand toward Alex again, and Alex took it tentatively. The child's grip was surprisingly strong, filled with confidence and certainty that unsettled him and yet drew him in. The court's silence deepened. Every noble, every guard seemed to be watching, waiting for Alex's reaction. Finally, Alex said, "If Kale calls me father, then I will protect him. That I can promise. I will not turn away." The court murmured softly. Even the queen seemed affected, a subtle shift in her posture. She nodded slowly. "Very well. Let it be known. Captain Alex Mercer shall serve as guardian to Kale, at least for the moment. But understand this. Such a bond comes with responsibility, danger, and scrutiny. The court does not easily accept changes, even those decreed by a child." Alex straightened, feeling both the weight and the honor of the role thrust upon him. "I understand, Your Majesty. I accept this responsibility." Kale's small smile broke the tension in the room. The child's eyes sparkled with excitement and trust. "We will be together," Kale said simply. The queen let out a quiet breath and gestured for Alex to follow her. She led him and Kale to a private chamber within the palace. The walls glowed softly, and delicate holographic lights floated in patterns across the room. "You must know," the queen said once the doors closed, "Kale is not an ordinary child. He was created, or perhaps chosen, to fulfill a purpose that could alter the balance of this world. Many in my court would see him as a tool, a threat, or an opportunity. You must protect him even from those who serve him." Alex looked at the child, who sat quietly, seemingly aware of every word. "I will protect him," Alex said firmly, "no matter what it takes." The queen's gaze softened slightly, though a shadow of worry remained. "Very well, but beware, Captain. Politics here are sharp. Intrigue runs deep. Not everyone will accept this bond." Alex nodded, feeling the enormity of the situation settle on his shoulders. He glanced at Kale again. The child's confidence, innocence, and clarity were remarkable. Somehow, this small being had chosen him, and now he was bound to Zithra in ways he could never have imagined. For the first time, Alex realized that his journey on this alien world was no longer about diplomacy alone. It was about trust, courage, and the unbreakable bond forming between a human and an alien child. whose presence challenged everything Alex thought he knew about family, loyalty, and the future of two worlds. As he sat beside Kale that night, listening to the soft hum of the palace and the distant sounds of the city, Alex felt a strange mixture of fear and hope. This child had called him father, and in that single word, Alex understood that life on Zithra would never be the same again. Outside the chamber, the court continued to whisper, nobles speculating, guards exchanging wary glances, and the queen contemplating the unprecedented events that had just unfolded. Yet within the quiet, Alex and Kale began the first steps of a bond that neither politics, distance, nor time could sever. And as the stars above Zithra glimmered in the alien night sky, Alex knew that this was only the beginning of a journey that would test the limits of courage, loyalty, and the meaning of family across the stars. The following morning, the palace was already alive with movement. Servants glided silently along the halls, delivering meals and messages, while guards patrolled with precise, synchronized steps. Alex woke in a guest chamber prepared for him, the windows revealing a breathtaking view of Zithra's capital, its towers glinting in the pale morning light. Yet despite the beauty outside, his mind was restless. Kale's words from the day before echoed repeatedly, "Father." Alex rose and prepared for the day. He had no formal orders beyond protecting Kale, but that simple command carried a weight he had never known. As he descended the grand staircase to find the child, he considered the impossible nature of the situation. Kale had called him father without knowing him, without any shared history. And yet, when he had taken Kale's small hand, there had been no doubt, no hesitation. It had been a choice, a trust placed entirely upon him. The door to the private chamber opened, and Kale was already there, waiting. The child's silver hair glimmered in the morning light, and their violet eyes met Alex's with a clarity that both unsettled and comforted him. "Good morning, father," Kale said simply, as if it were the most natural greeting in the world. Alex swallowed, nodding. "Good morning, Kale. Did you sleep well?" Kale shrugged slightly. "I slept. Dreams are strange, but I do not mind them. I have questions." Alex raised an eyebrow. "Questions?" "Yes," Kale said, stepping closer. "About you, about this place, about why I am here and why I am yours." Alex hesitated. He had no answers. He knew nothing of the child's origin beyond what Queen Lysera had hinted. Yet Kale seemed to sense that truth was more important than comfort. "I don't know everything, Kale," Alex admitted, "but I promise I will learn, and I will protect you no matter what." The child studied him for a moment and then nodded, as though accepting a promise that did not require proof. "Then we begin," Kale said. Over the following days, Alex spent every possible moment with Kale, learning the child's habits, abilities, and personality. Kale was unlike any human child Alex had ever met. Though small, the child's mind worked with astonishing speed. Kale could memorize complex patterns, understand human language immediately, and even anticipate subtle movements. During a session in the palace gardens, Kale reached out to touch a floating orb of light that Alex had been using to study Zitharan energy patterns. The orb shimmered, responding to Kale's touch with soft pulses of color. Alex watched in awe. "You can feel the energy," he said. "You're not just smart, you're different," Kale smiled faintly. "I know things I am not taught. I see things others cannot. That is why I called you father. You are human, and humans see differently than the queen or her court." Alex felt a chill. Kale understood more than anyone had realized. But there was warmth in the child's words, a trust that bound him to a duty greater than simple protection. As Alex spent time with Kale, he began to notice the reactions of the palace staff. Some were wary, avoiding direct interaction. Others observed silently, judging his every action. And some, particularly the Queen's advisors, seemed to whisper in corners, casting furtive glances in their direction. Politics, Alex realized, would not allow this bond to exist quietly. Queen Lysera summoned him one evening to a secluded balcony overlooking the city. The twin moons of Zithra reflected off the metallic towers, casting soft light across the garden below. "You are growing close to him," the queen said, her voice calm but tinged with concern. "Do you understand the implications, Captain Mercer? Not everyone here will accept your bond with Kale. Some see the child as a symbol of power, others as a threat to the stability of my reign." Alex nodded. "I understand, Your Majesty, but Kale chose me. I cannot turn away." The queen's eyes softened. "It is rare to see such courage, such clarity in a human. Perhaps it is your humanity itself that allows you to connect with him. Zitherans are bound by logic, by protocol, by observation. You are bound by choice and emotion. That may save him, or it may put him at greater risk." Alex felt the weight of her words. He had expected danger, but not a moral challenge of this magnitude. "Then I will do whatever is needed to protect him. I will not fail." Kale, meanwhile, continued to explore his abilities in secret. One afternoon, he approached Alex with a strange device, a compact piece of Zitharan technology that hummed softly in his hands. "I can hear it," Kale said. "The energy of the palace, it speaks to me. I can see things before they happen. You will need to trust me, Father." Alex knelt beside the child, keeping his voice calm. "I trust you, Kale, but we must be careful. Others do not know what you can do. If they see too much, they may try to control you or stop you." Kale nodded. "I know. That is why I chose you. You will protect me from them." As the days passed, Alex and Kale's bond deepened. Alex taught Kale about Earth, about humans, and about ideas of morality and empathy that were foreign to the court. In return, Kale shared insights into Zitharan culture, showing Alex hidden passages, secret codes, and even subtle social dynamics that most outsiders would never understand. Yet the court's tension grew. Nobles whispered, questioning the queen's judgment and Alex's role. Some guards expressed unease, unsure whether a human should hold such influence over a royal child. Others were openly hostile, subtly testing Alex's reactions with veiled insults or challenges to his authority. One evening, as Alex escorted Kale through the palace corridors, a group of nobles confronted him. "Captain Mercer," one said smoothly, "do you understand the dangers of your attachment? Kale is not merely a child. He is a symbol. Your human emotions may blind you to the greater game being played here." Alex met their gaze steadily. "I understand more than you think. Kale is not a symbol, he is a person, and he deserves protection, not manipulation. If you threaten him, you threaten your own standing." The nobles bristled but did not advance. Alex's confidence, combined with the quiet authority he had gained through his bond with Kale, held them at bay. Word spread quickly. Even the queen's advisors began to acknowledge that Alex was not just a guest, but a protector who commanded respect through actions rather than title. Kale, meanwhile, began testing his abilities further. He could sense movements before they occurred, anticipate shifts in energy, and even influence minor devices with a thought. Alex realized that Kale's powers were far greater than anyone had imagined. But more remarkable than the abilities was the child's moral sense, the clarity with which Kale distinguished right from wrong. Alex had never met anyone, human or alien, with such precision of judgment at such a young age. One afternoon, Kale took Alex to a secluded garden hidden behind a veil of floating light. "Here, Father," Kale said, "you will understand more." The garden was unlike anything Alex had seen in the palace. Strange plants shimmered with bioluminescence, and streams of energy flowed like water, bending light and casting reflections that seemed almost alive. Kale reached out, touching a plant, and Alex watched as it responded, shifting color and shape to match the child's intent. "You see," Kale said, "this is my world as well as yours. I feel its life, its energy. I can protect it, but only with you." Alex felt awe and responsibility. He had expected diplomacy, politics, and danger, But this was something far beyond, an opportunity to protect a life that connected two worlds, to guide someone who could change the course of both human and Zitharan futures. That evening, Queen Lysera summoned him again. This time her expression was solemn but approving. "You have formed a bond with Kale that is extraordinary," she said. "It is human in a way my court cannot fully understand. Perhaps that is why he chose you. But remember, Captain, knowledge and power are dangerous." "Not everyone will act as you do," Alex nodded. "I understand, Your Majesty. I will do everything to protect him and to honor the trust he placed in me." The Queen studied him for a long moment, then finally nodded. "Very well. I will support you, but carefully. Some in my court may act against you or Kale without warning. Trust must guide your decisions more than strength alone." Alex returned to Kale's side, feeling the weight of the Queen's words. "We are not safe yet," he said quietly. "But together, we can face whatever comes." Kale's small hand found his, and Alex felt the same certainty he had the first day the child had called him father. "Together," Kale agreed. And so, in the days that followed, Alex and Kale continued their bond, learning, teaching, protecting, and growing. The court's intrigue, the threats from ambitious nobles, and the uncertainty of Kale's origin created constant tension. Yet with every challenge, Alex's resolve hardened and Kale's trust deepened. Alex understood the truth. This was more than protection. It was the beginning of a partnership that could shape the destiny of Zithra, and perhaps even the relationship between humans and this alien civilization. As night fell over the palace, the city lights glimmered like stars beneath the twin moons. Alex stood beside Kale on the balcony, watching the glowing towers stretch into the distance. The court below murmured with speculation, yet Alex felt a quiet confidence. Kale looked up at him. "We will face them, father. They will try, but we will be ready." Alex nodded, feeling the warmth of their connection. "Yes, Kale, whatever comes, we will face it together." And as the night deepened, Alex realized that his life, once defined by orders and duty, had changed forever. He was no longer just a visitor in an alien world. He was a father, a protector, and a guide for a child whose existence could unite or challenge two civilizations. And in that realization, he found a purpose stronger than any mission or command he had ever known. The morning sun rose over the palace of Zithra, casting long beams of light across the towers and floating platforms. Captain Alex Mercer stood with Kale on the balcony, both of them quietly watching the city awaken. The events of the past weeks had changed everything. Alex had gone from a simple envoy to a guardian, a protector of a child whose very existence challenged the power and traditions of the court. Yet the palace was alive with whispers, and the undercurrent of intrigue had not diminished. Alex knew today would not be easy. Rumors had spread among the nobles about Kale's bond with him. Some saw it as unnatural, others as a threat to their influence. Even now, guards and courtiers lingered in the hallways, eyes sharp, words measured. Alex felt the weight of every gaze, but he had grown confident in his role. He would not falter. Kale's trust gave him strength. As he walked through the halls with Kale, the child's small hand in his, Alex noticed the subtle signs of tension. Servants whispered quietly, guards shifted uneasily, and certain nobles avoided their path entirely. The palace was beautiful, filled with light and energy, but beneath the elegance was a layer of caution and suspicion. Alex had learned to read it. Every glance, every movement, every hesitation told him who was friend and who might oppose him. In the throne room, the queen awaited them. She rose gracefully as they entered. Her eyes, deep violet and radiant, studied Alex carefully. "Captain Mercer," she said, her voice calm, "today you will face the court in a council meeting. The nobles demand explanation for your bond with Kale. They question your authority, your right to influence a royal child." Alex nodded. "I understand, Your Majesty. I am ready." Queen Lysera looked at Kale, who stood quietly, eyes glowing faintly with confidence. And Kale, you will speak the truth. Your voice carries weight in ways adults cannot always comprehend. The child nodded. I understand, Mother. The doors of the council chamber opened, revealing a large room filled with Zitharan nobles, advisors, and guards. The atmosphere was tense, charged with anticipation. Alex stepped forward, keeping his composure. He had learned to move confidently in this world, to meet eyes without fear, and to speak with clarity that commanded attention. One of the lead nobles, a tall figure with silver-toned skin and piercing eyes, stood. Captain Mercer, he said, voice sharp. You claim to be guardian to Kale, yet Kale is a symbol of our dynasty. How can a human, an outsider, claim such influence? Why does the child call you father? Alex took a slow breath. He looked at Kale, who gave a small nod, affirming his support. I am no usurper, Alex began. I am human. I cannot claim heritage or power in your dynasty, but I can protect Kale. I can honor the trust this child placed in me. Kale is not a symbol to be controlled or a tool to be manipulated. Kale is a person with thoughts, feelings, and choices. And Kale chose me to be his guardian. A murmur ran through the chamber. Some nobles bristled at his words, others were silent, considering his statement. Alex continued, his voice firm but respectful. You speak of tradition, of protocol, of influence. But Kale's bond with me is not political. It is human. It is trust, responsibility, and care. I will not abandon that trust, no matter the cost. Kale stepped forward, small but confident. The child's voice, amplified through the palace's translation system, carried clearly to every corner of the room. I chose him because he listens. He does not see me as a tool or symbol. He protects me, teaches me, and respects me. That is why he is my father. Not because of power, but because he is worthy of my trust. The chamber fell silent. Nobles exchanged glances, uncertain how to respond to the words of a child that carried authority beyond its years. The queen's eyes softened, observing the interaction. Alex could see the pride and relief in her expression, mixed with lingering concern for the court's reaction. One of the older advisors spoke next, voice trembling slightly. This is unprecedented. Never has a human held such influence in our court. Yet the child's choice, it cannot be ignored. Alex stepped closer to Kale, keeping his posture steady. I do not seek power, he said firmly. I seek only to honor the trust Kale placed in me. If that is a threat to your court, then perhaps it is a threat only because it challenges you to see beyond protocol, beyond control. Kale's well-being, not politics, is my duty. Another noble, more aggressive, tried to interrupt. You speak boldly, human, but words alone cannot secure your position. The court cannot simply accept. Before the noble could finish, Kale raised a hand. Enough, the child said firmly. I have spoken. Father has proven he can protect me. He has shown courage, wisdom, and respect. That is all that matters. Those who doubt us will see the truth soon enough. The chamber was silent again. Even the most ambitious nobles felt the weight of the child's declaration. The queen stepped forward, her presence commanding the room. It is true, she said. Captain Mercer's actions, his guidance, and his integrity have earned my trust. Kale chose him for a reason. Let it be known that his role as Kale's guardian is recognized and supported by the crown. A ripple of astonishment passed through the room. Some nobles bowed slightly, acknowledging the queen's words. Others remained stiff, still cautious, but none could openly oppose the decree. The balance of power had shifted, not through force, but through courage, integrity, and the trust of a child. Alex exhaled quietly, feeling the tension ease. Kale's hand squeezed his briefly, a small gesture of affirmation. The child's confidence and clarity had turned a moment of potential conflict into acceptance and respect. Alex realized once again that human qualities, honesty, empathy, courage, could succeed where political maneuvering might fail. Later, as the council dispersed, Alex and Kale walked through the palace gardens. The sun was lower in the sky, casting long shadows and bathing the garden in golden light. Kale paused by a stream of energy that flowed like water but shimmered with colors Alex had never seen. "Father," Kale said quietly, "do you understand why I chose you?" Alex knelt beside the child, looking into those violet eyes. "I think so," he replied, "but tell me in your own words." Kale smiled faintly. "You see me as I am, not as others want me to be. You listen, protect, and teach me. That is why. Not because of your strength, but because of your heart. You care." Alex felt a lump in his throat. He had faced countless battles in his life, confronted dangers across the galaxy, yet nothing had ever moved him like these words. "I will always care, Kale. I promise you that." The child nodded, then turned to examine the plants and streams of energy, moving with curiosity and wonder. Alex watched, understanding that his role was not to command or control, but to guide, protect, and nurture. That night, Alex reflected on the events of the day. The court had accepted his position, but the political landscape remained delicate. Ambition, jealousy, and fear would not disappear overnight, yet he felt a deep confidence. With Kale by his side, he was not just a protector. He was part of a bond that could unite hearts, challenge old traditions, and perhaps even bring humans and Zitherans closer together. Over the following weeks, Alex continued to learn the intricacies of court life. He observed, adapted, and acted with care, earning the respect of both guards and nobles. Kale's presence had changed everything. Where once the court relied solely on hierarchy and tradition, now trust, choice, and moral courage mattered as well. Kale grew stronger, more confident, and more capable each day. The child's abilities continued to manifest in subtle ways, sensing danger, understanding complex systems, even influencing minor technologies without touching them. But Alex saw that Kale's greatest strength was not power, but clarity of heart. The child knew right from wrong, truth from manipulation, and chose integrity over advantage. One evening, as Alex and Kale stood on the balcony watching the twin moons rise, the Queen joined them. She placed a hand on Kale's shoulder, then looked at Alex with quiet approval. "You have done more than I could have expected," she said softly. "You have not only protected Kale, but you have shown this court a different path. Perhaps humans are not so different after all. Perhaps courage, empathy, and trust are universal." Alex nodded. "I only do what any parent or guardian would do. Kale deserves protection, guidance, and respect. That is all." The Queen smiled faintly, a rare warmth in her eyes. "Then let it be known, Captain Mercer. Not only are you Kale's guardian, but you are now recognized as part of this world, in the eyes of the court and the crown. Your actions, your courage, and your heart have earned this place. Take it with honor." Alex felt a profound sense of purpose settle over him. He had come to Zithera as a visitor, a diplomat, and an observer. He had faced danger, uncertainty, and intrigue. But through it all, he had found a connection that transcended politics, species, and expectation. He was Kale's father not by birth but by choice, trust, and courage. Kale reached up and held Alex's hand tightly. "We did it," the child said simply. "Yes," Alex replied, looking out over the city lights. "We did it together." And so life in the palace began anew. The court, once tense and skeptical, had adjusted to the presence of a human who acted with honor, courage, and unwavering integrity. Kale thrived under Alex's guidance, learning about both human and Zitharan worlds, growing into a child who could one day bridge civilizations. Alex understood that this was only the beginning. Challenges would come, threats would rise, and the delicate balance of court politics would always demand vigilance. Yet he felt a deep confidence, strengthened by Kale's trust and the knowledge that humanity's qualities, compassion, courage, and honor, could shine even in the most alien of worlds. And as the twin moons cast their silver light across the palace, Alex realized that he had found something far greater than duty or mission. He had found family, trust, and a purpose that would shape the destiny of two worlds. Together, father and child watched the stars above Zithra, ready for whatever the future held, their bond unbreakable, their courage unshaken, and their hearts aligned across the vastness of space.